Okay, so check the timestamp. It is Friday, January 30th, 2026.
Right.
And if you're tracking the cultural calendar at all, that puts us in a very specific window.
We are exactly 2 weeks out from Chinese New Year. The countdown clock is ticking loudly.
It is. And if you've been in a grocery store, a mall, any kind of garden center in the last, say, 48 hours, you have seen what that clock looks like.
Oh, yeah. It is an absolute explosion of red and gold.
You literally cannot walk down an aisle without getting hit in the face by a lucky bamboo
Yeah.
or a plotted lime tree.
It's a fascinating logistical phenomenon, isn't it? I mean, this massive surge of horticulture that is grown and shipped and staged for what is essentially a 2-week user experience.
A 2-week user experience, that's a great way to put it. It's an interface overhaul for your living room.
Totally.
And that is exactly where we're pointing our lens today. We aren't just giving you gardening tips.
No.
We are doing a deep dive into a blog post from a site called qianmeng.org. The post is titled Notes on Gardening, Part 792, Repurposing Festive Plants.
Part 792. I just want that number to land with you for a second.
Right.
That is not a casual weekend hobbyist. That's a data set.
It's a legacy, really. The author, a guy named Ang, describes himself in a way that I think just frames this whole thing perfectly.
What does he say?
He calls himself an old software plumber.
I love that title. I mean, it implies he's not just writing shiny new code. He's fixing the pipes, managing the flow.
Dealing with the messy infrastructure.
Yeah, that practical, hands-on relationship with systems.
Exactly. He spends his nights tinkering with free and open source software, but he clearly applies that same, back-end engineering mindset to the analog world.
Gardening, fish keeping, photography.
He needs them all like systems that can be optimized, debugged, and, well, refactored.
And that's really the mission for this deep dive, isn't it?
It is.
We're looking at what happens when you apply that software engineer mindset, that obsession with efficiency and debugging to the chaotic organic mess of a garden.
Specifically, how to hack the whole system of seasonal plant buying.
So let's load the current state of the world, as he paints it.
It's January 30th. Families are buying these plants. It's tradition. You get the lime tree, the bamboo. You display them for the 15 days of the Lunar New Year for prosperity.
But Ang, he immediately spots a critical bug in this user behavior.
A bug? What is it?
He calls it a life cycle failure. He points out that the intent is usually good. People buy these living things and they think, okay, after the holiday's over, I'll transplant this.
This will be the year I finally have a garden.
Exactly. I'll keep it alive.
Which is the lie we all tell ourselves, right?
Yeah.
It's just pure optimism bias.
It is, and the data shows otherwise. Ain observes that, in the vast majority of cases, these plants just wither away.
They end up as biomass waste.
Because once the festive context is gone, the user loses interest, or they just don't have the skills to maintain the hardware.
I am so guilty of this. You buy it, you put it in a corner with terrible light because it looks good for the party.
And 3 weeks later?
It's a brown, crunchy stick.
Right. And from an engineering perspective, that is a massive inefficiency.
How so?
You're allocating all these resources, money, water, transport, for a system that has 99% downtime, and then it just crashes.
It's the buy, display, die loop.
It's treating a biological asset like a static JPEG. You display it, then you delete it.
And Ang, the software plumber, he sees this and refuses to run that code.
He does. He looks at the grocery store displays and says, and this is a direct quote, "Despite their affordable prices, I'm not keen on buying them just yet."
That's the first part of the hack right there.
Market timing.
It's arbitrage. He knows the clearance cycle better than the retailers do. He waits.
He waits until the festive season is deprecated.
Chuckles. Deprecated. I like that. When the holiday is officially unsupported.
Yes. When the stores need that floor space back for Valentine's Day chocolates, they offer steep discounts to clear the inventory.
So Ang swoops in.
He gets the same hardware, the plant, for a fraction of the cost, just by introducing a 2-week latency into his process.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Because if he just bought cheap plants and then killed them 2 weeks later...
He'd just be a thrifty consumer.
Exactly. But he's not doing that. He isn't just putting them in a clay pot on the balcony.
No. He has analyzed the specs of the plants. He's realized that some of these festive varieties...
Like a bamboo or certain reeds, maybe?
Probably. He's realized they're actually suitable for semi-aquatic settings.
He wants to put them in his ponds.
And this is a major, major shift in thinking. He's moving from ornamental usage...
Looking pretty on a table.
...to ecosystem integration. He's looking at the plant's actual biological needs and realizing, Wait, this isn't decoration. This is a biological filter.
It's like repurposing an old laptop to run as a home media server.
That is a perfect analogy.
It's no longer a display device. Now it's infrastructure.
He's taking a deprecated asset and reintegrating it into a whole new stack. And in this case, the stack is his outdoor water feature.
But like any good engineering project, the integration part is where the real headaches start.
Oh.
You can't just drag and drop a potted plant into a pond and call it a day.
No, and this is where he hits the debugging phase. He notes a specific constraint in his system.
Which is?
His outdoor ponds have significant depth.
Okay, so why is depth a bug in this scenario?
Because semi-aquatic is a very specific range. It usually means the plant likes its roots in the water, wet feet.
But dry ankles.
Exactly. They need their leaves in the air to photosynthesize. If you just drop a pot into a 3-foot deep pond, you drown the plant.
It's an interface mismatch, like trying to plug a USB-C cable into a parallel port.
That's it. So he's stuck. He has the asset, the cheap plant. He has the environment, the pond.
But he's missing the middleware to connect them.
And this is where the personality of the tinkerer just shines. A normal person would say, oh, well, guess that won't work.
But not Aang.
Aang writes, my primary challenge at the moment is determining the best way to position or plant them.
He opens a ticket.
He literally does. He concludes with, this is certainly something I'll need to investigate further.
It's a status open ticket in his brain.
He knows there's a solution out there. Maybe he builds a submerged shelf. Maybe he rigs up some kind of floating planter.
But he hasn't written that code yet.
Not yet. But that phrase, investigate further, is doing a lot of work. It implies he's going to research buoyancy, root rot, oxygenation levels.
He's not guessing. He's gathering data.
He's probably reading white papers on hydroponics as we speak.
So I want to zoom out here because the context of where this single post sits is maybe the most mind-blowing part of this whole source.
Okay.
We mentioned its Notes on Gardening, part 792.
792.
If you assume one post a week, that's, what, over 15 years of notes?
At least. The archives on his site go back to 2011. But get this. In January 2026 alone, the month we're in, the counter shows 90 entries.
Wait, 90?
Yeah.
In 1 month, that's 3 posts a day.
He is a machine, but it's not content in that influencer sense. He isn't trying to go viral.
He isn't selling a course on gardening.
No. These are log files.
And just look at the sidebar categories. This is a masterclass in the quantified self.
What else is there?
We've got Notes on Fish Keeping, that's part 184. Notes on Haskell Programming, part 45. There's Dieting, Photography, AI.
It shows a mind that sees everything as a system that's worth documenting. It's like a unified theory of his life.
And what's fascinating is how these modules talk to each other.
How do you mean?
Well, we just talked about him putting plants in a pond. Okay, look at the recent posts in that other category. Same day as the gardening post. January 30th. There's Notes on Fish Keeping, part 184. Life After Loss.
Life after loss. That sounds surprisingly emotional for a software plumber.
It implies a death in the tank, right? A system failure.
Okay, so connect the dots for me. Gardening post is about cheap plants. Fish keeping post is about loss.
The pond project from the gardening post is the physical bridge. He's taking the plants, which act as nitrate filters,
And adding them to the pond system.
to stabilize the water quality, to prevent future loss in his fish population.
So the gardening module is a dependency for the fish keeping module.
That is brilliant. He's patching the fish tank firmware by updating the garden hardware.
Exactly. And the software plumber mindset governs the whole thing. The programming notes, automating this, adding a description for that.
It's the same iterative, version-controlled approach to his code, his diet, and his fish.
It really is a scientific method just applied to daily existence. Observe, hypothesize, test, document.
And then repeat.
And the documentation part is so key. Most of us, we do the test part. We buy a new plant or try a new diet.
But we don't do the document part.
So when it fails, we have no idea why. We just say, well, I'm bad at gardening.
Right. We treat it as a personal failing instead of a data point.
Aang treats it as a bug report. Look at his titles. Addressing Leggy Vinca.
Chuckles. Addressing leggy Vinca sounds exactly like a JIRA ticket. Vinca rendering incorrectly. Stems exceeding vertical constraints. Please fix.
It does. And he doesn't hide the failures. The unexpected algae. That's a Sev 1 incident, a production outage in the fish tank.
But he documents it so he can solve it.
And that detaches the ego, doesn't it? If your plant dies, it's not because you are a failure. It's because the variable for sunlight was set to null.
You just patch it in the next update. You write Notes on gardening part 793, and you tweet the parameters.
There's another category on his site that I think explains how he maintains this incredible volume.
What's that?
The Now page and This Week in Review.
Ah, the Now page. That's a concept from Derek Sivers, right? A single page that says, here is what I'm focused on right now.
It's a declaration of intent. It stops you from getting distracted by side quests.
Prevents context switching.
And This Week in Review, he has one for week 4, week 3, week 2. It's agile methodology for personal life, weekly sprints, retrospectives.
What went well this week? What festive plants did we refuse to buy?
It's just relentless intentionality. Most of us, we just sleepwalk through these seasonal cycles. We see the red and gold, we get the dopamine hit, we buy the plant.
We kill the plant, feel a vague sense of guilt, and then we repeat it next year.
Eng stops that loop. He looks at the source code of his own behavior and says, this subroutine is inefficient. It has a memory leak my wallet. I'm rewriting it.
And the rewrite is, wait 2 weeks, buy at a discount, install in the pond.
Optimization complete.
And he's doing this with everything. Notes on dieting, part 114, deep dive into late cha. He's not just eating lunch. He's analyzing the nutritional payload.
Or Notes on Photography, part 226, the timeless appeal. It's a holistic curiosity. But notice how specific the technical notes are, too. Type error, type object is not.
So he's solving these very granular problems in his code and then turning around and solving very granular problems in his garden.
Like the blackbeard algae in Fish Keeping Part 173.
Blackbeard algae. I used to have an aquarium. That stuff is the blue screen of death for a tank.
It's persistent stuff, and the fact that he calls it out by name, he doesn't just say, my tank is dirty. It shows he's diagnosing the specific strain so he can apply a specific patch.
He's not overwhelmed with a mess. He's analyzing the components of the mess.
And that is a life skill right there. The difference between panic and problem solving.
So, bringing this back to you, the listener, you're standing in the grocery store. It's January 30th. You see the lucky bamboo. What's the actual lesson? Is it just don't buy plants?
No, I don't think so. Buy the plant. If it brings you joy, buy it. But don't execute the default script.
The buy now, display, discard script.
Yeah, that's bloatware. The software plumber script is analyze the value, wait for the dip, and repurpose for long-term utility.
So it's about thinking beyond that 15-day holiday window.
It's about asking, where does this fit in my system? And if you don't have a system, if you don't have a pond or a sunny spot already defined,
then you're just introducing a dependency that you can't support.
that is such a good way to put it. Introducing a dependency you can't support. That explains so much of the clutter in our lives.
The exercise bike that becomes a clothes hanger.
Unsupported dependency. You didn't have the time routine patch to support the hardware.
The sourdough starter that turned into a science experiment in the back of the fridge.
You lacked the runtime environment to support daily baking. You installed a program your operating system wasn't ready for.
I feel like my whole life is just a series of compatibility issues now.
But Ang's notes show he's also willing to pivot. He talks about the trade-off bet or reconsidering he lets the data change his mind.
Right. If the plant dies, it's not a tragedy. It's just a note.
That's the open source part of his philosophy. He's open to patches. If a plant variety doesn't work, he doesn't force it. He notes the failure and tries a different branch.
He forks his own project.
And the sheer volume, part 792, it just reminds us that expertise isn't a destination. It's just a really, really long log file.
That's profound. We're always looking for the ultimate guide to gardening. The cheat code.
But Ang isn't writing a guide. He's writing notes. He's showing us that you don't master a domain.
You just keep engaging with it. Day after day, ticket after ticket.
And sometimes that engagement is staring at a deep pond and admitting, I don't know how to do this yet.
To be investigated.
To be investigated.
I think that's a great mantra. It gives you permission to not know the answer, as long as you open the ticket.
Right. It creates the space for the solution to emerge. If he hadn't identified the problem, if he'd just tossed the plant in and walked away, he would have failed.
But by marking it as to be investigated, he keeps the whole process alive.
The takeaway here really is to look for those memory leaks in your own routines. Where are you spending resources, money, time, energy on things that are basically designed to fail?
The festive plant is just a metaphor.
It's a metaphor for anything we bring into our lives temporarily without a plan for its long-term integration. The impulse buy at the checkout. The new kitchen gadget that does one specific thing.
The New Year's resolution that lasts 2 weeks.
Exactly. Those are all festive plants.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the pond, the environment to sustain them, they're just going to wither.
So hack the system, wait for the discount, build the pond first.
And keep good notes.
Always keep good notes.
because you will forget what worked last year. I mean, human memory is RAM. It gets wiped when you sleep. Notes are hard drive storage.
That is the absolute truth. Write it down or it didn't happen.
The final thing that strikes me is just the calmness of it all. In a world that is screaming for your attention, Aang is just quietly tending his garden and his code.
It's a reminder that you can actually opt out of the hype cycle. You don't have to buy the plants when everyone else does. You can wait. You can play your own game.
You can be the plumber, not just the user.
So as you head into your weekend, maybe take a look at your own garden, your literal one, or your metaphorical one. Are you running clean code, or is it a mess of temporary patches?
And if you see a problem, don't just ignore it. Open a ticket. Notes on Life, Part 1, Fixing the Dishwasher.
Shackles. I love it. Start the log. Big thanks to the old software plumber Aang for the inspiration today.
Absolutely. Keep hacking.
So here's a final provocative thought for you to chew on based on that pond dilemma Aang is facing. When you bring something new into your life, a plant, a new habit, a shiny new tool, do you just pot it and hope for the best?
Or do you actually engineer the environment to ensure it can survive the depths?
That is the question. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll catch you in the next one.
Happy gardening.